Joseph, welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
You know, when I say things like there cannot be two leaders within a relationship or a marriage, people will argue and say things like, I want an equal partnership. Or they'll say things like, do what works best for you. When in reality, the truth is the best way to accomplish any goal where there's two or more people is to make sure that you have the healthy dynamic of who's the leader and who plays the other roles. And you see this all over life. But you know what? Today I came with some proof to you that these chicks who claim that they want equal partnerships, feminists who say that they're looking for equality, are actually looking to be the head and leaders of relationships. Don't believe me? Check it out for yourself. This video is going to start with another video of a woman who says, I stand by the belief that men are not inherent leaders. And you might be asking, well, who is? She believes women are, and thousands and thousands and thousands of women also share this belief. Check it out for yourself.
I stand by the opinion that men are not inherent leaders, that they are not meant to be leaders.
Literally, they're not. And I really didn't want to say this, but like I was so scared to say this because I already know like people are just gonna come for me. But I'm a relationship therapist, and so I couldn't scroll past this video and not say anything. From my experience, the couples that are the strongest, most successful, longest lasting are the ones in which the woman is the leader of the relationship. Since the dawn of time, there's been so many women leaders that have been like in the Bible and in ancient Egyptian, whatever. Like women's were always just the head of the game.
To think that she can bring up the Bible and then talk about how women are the real leaders, inherent leaders, just lets you know how much chicks like this have lost their mind and need a bit of coffee to get it back.
I think somewhere down the line, society made it a thing to like reverse roles and say that men were the providers and the protectors. I think it's a societal thing. I don't think it's instinctive or natural. Because like that other creator was saying, I stitched a video so you could go back and watch it. If it was a natural thing, and I actually wrote a video about this in my notes a couple months back, probably like October, and I was going to say something, but I got scared and I never posted the video. But since she did it, let's really just talk about it. If it was a natural thing, it wouldn't be forced. We wouldn't be having 50-50 conversations. We wouldn't be trying to remind men to do it. It would have been natural.
So they believe, and I want you to follow what she's saying, if men were supposed to be natural leaders, it would have happened naturally. Women would have just fallen in line. They believe leadership, right? Power is established and leadership is established naturally. And women know how to get that naturally.
It is more, from my experience, what I've observed with couples, it is more, common for men to want to be told what to do. Even when we look at the most powerful couples, there's always like a man who is kind of just like taking the lead of his wife. He might be the face of something, but it's evident that he's taking the lead of his wife.
Well, I can agree with her on that. There are a lot of weak men, and I do mean in comparison to their dominant wife. You can be upset about it, but we see it all the time. Oh yeah, happy wife, happy life. No, these guys exist out here. I just do whatever she tells me. She's the boss. We hear it all the time, but I think that's a product of society producing weak men and not men just being naturally less dominant than women. I can't believe we're having this conversation. Let's keep listening.
Wife is the brains of the operation. Okay, I wanted to give a really quick example. So take LeBron James and Savannah James. It is evident that LeBron is out all the time doing what he needs to do while Savannah is at home actually running their family system. So LeBron is the face of the system, but he goes out and he gets the money, quote unquote, providing, but he brings it back home to Savannah in order for her to successfully water and grow their family system. LeBron is the face and the provider while Savannah is the operator. And it's genius. It's a great system. Like Obama, for example, Obama and Michelle, he's very open about first of all, he introduces himself as, I am Michelle Obama's husband. And secondly, he is very open about the fact of, that Michelle ran the country and he was just the face.
Just because a wife has the majority of responsibility when it comes to the operations within a household doesn't make her the leader of that house. I do believe that mothers do a great job of taking full responsibility of a household as far as, the daily activities happening, but it doesn't mean that they are necessarily the head of that household. You can look at a business, right? The operator isn't necessarily the CEO. This is just for example's sake here. And when the CEO does show up, the operator knows who the boss is within that company. The truth is women are better at things like multitasking and pay closer attention to detail. But they're also not very good at compartmentalizing problems. And like a CEO, he's usually less emotional when it comes to handling situations. And so that makes for a worse leader. When things get really difficult, that leader is less emotional and doesn't break under pressure. Let's keep listening.
We notice that when a man is really, confident in his identity, he's much more likely to behave as Obama. And it's so funny because men, because of society, I'm just going to write it off to societal, norms.
Oh yeah, of
Because of
course.
society, men feel like they have to be dominant. They have to be the one to make all the decisions. But ironically enough, when they are in that position, they are uncomfortable. I don't make the rules. This is just what I see.
It's an uncomfortable position. There's no one who's in a role of leadership and isn't uncomfortable, right?
I do want to say that men are, at their best when they're protecting. I could give them that. But when it comes to leading, if we just look at where
Yeah, jump in front of the bullet, but no authority with your responsibility, right? Jump in front of the bullet, but hey, you don't get say in anything.
society's going today, the best companies are being ran by women. We don't talk about it because, society has always wanted to women, and women don't get jobs and women don't get the CEO positions, but they do. So for my men out there, if leading doesn't feel natural to you, just find you a dominant woman that is willing and able to lead. And it won't be hard because naturally women are leaders. And dominant doesn't mean dominant over you. It just
naturally-
means confident, certain, sure, emotional, but the good kind. Because if you're able to tap into your emotions effectively, you can make the best decisions. But yeah, you guys are safe kings. You don't have to lead the whole entire herd. Women can do it too. As humans, we're actually both masculine and feminine. As a human being, you should be able to operate from both places. But, society says men can only be masculine. And I see that ruining relationships every single day because it's really hard to feel like you have to be something that you're just not. So men feel like they have to be something that they're not, while women are expecting men to be something that they're not. And it's just causing all unnecessary conflict. So let's just, as a community, as a society, come together and realize that men are not always going to be the leaders that we want them to be.
There you go. Modern therapist who's unmarried and giving men advice to not be dominant, allow women to be dominant. Oh, shit. You can't just be masculine 24/7. Yeah, there's some femininity that men show once in a while. But yeah, this again, guys, is proof that these chicks aren't looking for equality. No. They're looking for dominance. And they'll try to word salad it into making you feel better, but it is what it is. They're looking for power. They want power over men. Can it be outlined any more clear? For this next video, I'm going to play a completely unrelated video, but very much applicable to this situation. Then we're going to read some comments of other women who are just going in and agreeing with the chick we just spoke with before. And I want to say this before I play the next video. You're going to want to hear this next video, but I want to say this. Yes, women are capable of doing amazing things. This is not about dimming women's lights, but within a relationship, you have to have dynamics that work well so that goals can be reached within those dynamics. The ones that she believes are best for all couples are ones where a man lets the woman lead, and that will produce the best outcomes. I strongly disagree. Because guys, listen, these chicks truly believe that they can outcompete men. And I will say they can outcompete some men. There are a lot of weak men out here today. We see a lot of these guys in relationships where they're getting told what to do. Let me ask you this. Do you want that for your relationship? Probably not. And here's the bitter coffee. This is the thing you're not supposed to say. The brutal reality is when you get the top performing men and the top performing women, those men are a lot more competitive than those women can ever be. They are more willing to sacrifice, work longer hours. They are more brutal. They're willing to make the tough decisions. The amount that they're willing to work, focus, and sacrifice, once you get into that top percentage of competent, hardworking, capable men, just gets ridiculous. It's almost incomparable. And if you go against a man who has a family and who has that mindset, you simply just lose. And they'll probably say something like, why does anyone need to lose? This goes back to that understanding that, things are just supposed to happen naturally. Women will lead and men will just naturally follow. The dominance doesn't need to be applied. They just believe that they can set the world up in a way that everybody gets what they want. And women make the best leaders, when the truth is, historically, female emperors and queens have been the most war-hungry of all rulers in the past. And listen, if you're a man today who values family, fatherhood, and raising competent men who are leaders, work hard, crush the competition. Because if these men are out here getting led by these chicks, bro, it should be a straightforward win to the finish line. Work hard. It's easier now more than ever to crush the competition. Yes, life is a competition. And to the wives who love their men who are great leaders, cooperate with them. Empower them as they empower you. But these female matriarchs, these chicks who are not even married out here thinking they're going to do something, run right though. Let's check out this other response. Unrelated, but definitely fitting. Let's get it.
Feed them, leave them alone. This is just an opinion, but I'm sure most men will agree. Do you want to know why marriages are falling apart? Do you want to know why over 50% of divorces happen? People seem to forget the pecking order. And I know this is going to come off so up, and people are going to call me a misogynist and a pick me, and you guys have already called that. Yeah, they picked me and I love it over here. So
Okay.
It goes God, your husband, and then your kids. Do not mishear me. I will unload a hole for my children. I will go to prison and I will smile in my mugshot. My kids will always come first, to a sense. I am actually not religious. Don't let the tattoos fool you. And for the ones that you're about to see, because I'm getting some saints done, I believe in God. I do not with organized religion. I pray every morning for everything I have. And I pray every night. My husband runs this house. Don't get it twisted. I have a hell of a lot to say when it comes to my shit. And if I put my foot down, I'm like, babe, no, it needs to be this way. And he knows I'm right. He'll say, okay. But if he has final word and he goes, no, you need to listen, I don't fight him. There's a lot of shit I know and there's a lot of shit he knows. But when it comes to brass tacks, that is my husband. He runs this house. He has final say in everything. And until you guys get that through your head, your children will not respect you. They will not respect him. Fighting will continue. Children will show no respect. And a lot of times when the kids and everybody's fighting is when divorce is caused. It goes God, your husband, and your children. I'm raising my children to be strong and smart enough so when they're older, they will leave me. I do not want them here forever. I'm not raising them to be mommy's boys and mommy's little princess. No, you're going to be a grown person one day, and I want you the hell out of my house having a life. With that being said, am I going to push them out at 18? Absolutely not. You live here as long as you want. I'm always going to be your mama. But you're not going to rely on me for shit. I'm teaching you to be independent. So one day, it will just be me and my husband. That is the person I'm spending the rest of my life with, not my children. They will have their own lives. God, husband, kids. Put it this way. Again, I make dinner most nights. This last week, not so much because it was like 100. I tried to turn on the oven and my husband yelled at me. So we did takeout. When he comes home and I make dinner, I make his plate first. I'm not serving my children. You see me taking care of your father because he is the head of the house. It's how my grandmother did it, how her parents did it. I take care of him. Don't get me wrong, my kids don't go without. He spoils them just as much as I spoil him. My kids will never want for anything. But when it comes to this life and the order, I'm begging you to understand. And if you don't believe in God and you don't mess with that, okay, cool. That's your boat. Don't worry about mine. Then it goes husband and kids. You don't want kids, then it's just your husband. In a full circle, if you want marriage to last, God, husband, children. That's all.
Listen, I played that because the last chick decided to bring the Bible into the conversation. All right, let's check out some of these comments in response to the video we just watched. This commenter says, your husband is a very lucky man to have a beautiful, very smart, very grounded wife like you. Here's somebody else who says, protect this woman at all costs. Here's another person who says, all I can think about is motor boating those. Here's somebody else who says, again, ... Do you by chance have a sister? LMFAO. Here's a man who says, as the breadwinner, my ex questioned everything I did. At some point, the marriage falls apart when you are not heard nor respected, even though you're the one supporting the family. Bless you. This gentleman says, 20 years married. This is the way it is in my house as a guy. It's the wife and my daughter. I'm married to my wife. She comes first, then my daughter. As long as it's that way, I will continue to be married. So, of course, we can't end this video by not playing the video that sparked this whole discussion. And it first started out with this comment that read, I believe men aren't meant to be leaders simply because they aren't good at it. And I don't think it comes naturally. Here was the original chick who said it. Let's check it out.
I stand by the opinion that men are not inherent leaders, that they are not meant to be leaders, that they are not biologically wired to be leaders, and that it does not come natural to them. I believe
Lost, 100% lost, and more garbage coming in the future.
This for so many reasons. One, they're simply just not good at it, and you can tell that it is a forced nature upon them. If it was a natural, inherent part of their being, they wouldn't have to assert themselves so aggressively over other people. And I always go back to this perspective of like why so many men join the military. And obviously, like there are class reasons for this. Poverty is one of them. Economic status is one of them. But men like to be told what to do. They like to take orders. They like to know the list of things that they need to do, and then they just do them. They're not the ones who are out there like strategizing. They are the doers in the narrative. I think about this in heterosexual relationships as well too, because men want to be perceived as head of household.
That whole men like being told what to do, not men who embrace their masculinity. And when I say that, if you have some type of shame kink or something like that, if you realize that she doesn't respect you as the head, I don't get how you're able to embrace those like weird shame kinks. That's what I think that is. Like men who like being told what to do, and they like the sound of a woman being like, do this now, and blah, blah, blah. Like at some point, all that crosses the line. Let's keep listening.
And yet they don't know where shit is in the kitchen. They don't know where shit is at the grocery store. They don't know how to take care of their children without the mother of the child being there. They're always looking to the women in their lives to tell them how things operate. Not only do they do this with their mothers, but they also do this with their wives, and then also their daughters.
I think the goal is to raise a man who other people look at and seek instruction, wisdom, and he can also add from what he's gained from life to the conversation, instead of you still calling up your mom and asking her what's the best decision forward. You need to grow up if that's where you're at. We know these guys exist, man, who love getting told what to do by the women in their life. Crazy. This commentary respondent says we're meant to be a matriarchy. So these women are like, we're meant to be in a matriarchy. More comments here. Somebody else here says this. The lady that says this is Julia Fox. Julia Fox is the chick who dated Kanye West. Somebody else here says the world has been flipped. We should be a matriarchal society. Again, they're still talking about how they should be a matriarchal society. Just look at nature, the divine feminine rules. Guys, this is the end goal. We've got a guy here who says, facts. My wife tells me what needs to be done and I go get it done. He says, I'm the moneymaker, but my wife is definitely the leader. Life has never been better. Big tough. Somebody else here says, behind every strong man is a strong woman. Literally means to me that she is his backbone, guide, etc. He may be the front, but she is providing him with the wisdom to move forward. Women do provide wisdom within a relationship. Your wife is somebody who you should talk to, and sometimes she sees things that you will not see. But that's not what's been talked about here, guys. Obviously, these chicks are talking about women being the head, being wiser, men not knowing shit, being dumb and stupid. Do they exist now more than ever? Yes, they exist. But you should not aim to be this incompetent, because they believe that's the natural way, which is just crazy. Here's another woman that says, absolutely, my mom wore the pants in the family. As it used to be said, my father was extremely successful, but mom steered the ship always. They were married 63 years. Here's somebody else who says, 1,000% agree. 1,000% agree. Every healthy and happy relationship I've seen, the men will tell you, my wife has the final say. These men are wealthy, healthy, and happy because their wife has the final say. Are you falling for this? Here's somebody else who says, my dad thinks he runs the household, but he can barely get anything done without my mom. But in his mind, he thinks he's the lead. Here's somebody else who says, in a way, I feel like this is the downfall of my relationship, she goes on to say, because I have a man who is not a natural leader, but he wants to lead. So he doesn't like to listen to me when I offer up guidance. Somebody else here added, as a man, I agree. Oh, somebody else here, another gentleman. My wife leads our household. My job is to guide our kids and her energy to be calm and protected. This way, her energy and life always feels safe. Beta. Another gentleman here says, my spouse asked me to step down from our marriage leadership role. I was too pushy and bossy. Now we are in debt. I think this sounds like a man. Our relationship is suffering and he's blaming me, sir. Move out of the way. Here's another woman who says, I'll never forget the day my husband said, as the leader of this household, and I asked him who told him that. Check that man real quick. This is why it's important to have conversations about foundational values. In these topics, you should talk about leadership. Check the link pinned to the top of the comment section and join Boo Brothers if you're a man who still values marriage today. It goes on to say, and when does it start? Because I can do a lot less if he thinks that's true. You see, this is what happens when you marry a woman who believes she's going to be leading the relationship. Here's somebody else who says, every king, god, ruler, emperor, noble act before making a decision went to see who? An oracle, who is always a wise, mystical woman. Now they're talking about witches. These women are embracing sorcery. Hercules with 3 wives, sisters. Now they're wise witches. This is what you're getting. Modern day wives taking leadership role. Yep. Somebody else here says, this is gold. The divine feminine intuitively knows what to do. Knows what to do. I'm assuming that's supposed to say. It's the divine masculine that takes her direction and implements the structure. Trusting her wisdom, I think and then it just stops there. Wow. As always, I'm Krishna. What do you think? Leave your comments down below. I appreciate you as always for checking out yet another episode of The Coffee Pot. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.